What's up, guys? So, I've been having some interesting conversations. Well, not really, because they've been kind of one way. But it's been regarding the rapper Takeoff from the Migos group. If anyone follows that, I've listened to literally one song of theirs, maybe two, maybe two. Um, and everyone's mourning this rapper's death. Like the rappers today seem to be dying quite often, and you have I really can't stand hip hop culture in the black community, which is another reason why I'm SYSBM, because I can't stand glorification of stupidity and criminality, which is in hip hop culture. Thomas Sowell, the conservative thinker and economist, and again, I'm not a conservative, but when you have a good argument, you have a good argument. He's well researched how um, the values in the black community, particularly the bad ones, like hip hop culture and stuff like that, stem from actually redneck culture from the South, black redneck culture. So that might be something you guys might want to check out. There's quite a few things online here on YouTube, which I might link, uh, just if people are curious about it. But to segue back into what I was originally saying, so I was having conversations with people, defending Takeoff, dying, saying it wasn't really his fault, or that some of these rappers who are dying aren't dying because of rapping itself, but because they're dying from things that everyone else dies of, which is both true in some regards and false in others. Yes, they die like all folks because we all die of one reason or another, um, that may be our fault. So yeah, but it's false that they're dying like everyone else, since most of us don't have the resources to avoid the things that we might get caught up in. When you're a millionaire, you shouldn't be out shooting dice. I don't know where it happened. Someone said it was happening in a studio or whatever, but you're still out there shooting dice with Pookie and Ray Ray. And some guys were saying, well, it's really his uncle or whoever Quavo is to him. I don't know if they're related or not. Whatever. I don't care. I don't really care about those rappers. Their talent to some, but not to me. So I don't care. So I don't follow them, know their lives or any aspect of their careers. So sorry. So I may get details about what happened wrong because I don't follow it, don't want to follow it. But accordingly, it was his friend, uncle, whatever Quavo is to him, that got into some drama with some folks, which ended up in the shooting of Takeoff. And accordingly, by their own people. Again, why are you shooting dice? You're a millionaire. Why are you out there shooting dice? I don't feel sorry for people, particularly rich celebrities, who get deleted doing dumb stuff. You catch a Darwin Award like everyone else. So in that regards, yeah, they die like everyone else of common stupidity. But being in a position that you are afforded, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be catching a Darwin Award for stuff like that. J.A.C does not still go to Marcy Projects in Brooklyn and hang out with folks. It, it wouldn't make sense. He may go there for business ventures or doing some philanthropy, stuff like that, but he's not sitting there hanging out in the corners that he used to sell crack 40 years ago, or whenever he did that. His age is a moving target. But I don't feel sorry, and people are like, well, it's disturbing that you would say that you don't care that rich celebrities are dying, and that you don't feel any you don't feel upset about it, and blah blah blah. I'm like, well, why should I? And it's funny when people don't have a good argument, they stalk your Facebook or your social media looking at anything they can try to use against you instead of just using reason. Like if I made a bad statement, attack the statement. Okay. But for you to have to go stalk my social media platforms to look for some faux pas. So so say this one stupid black bitch went into my um, profile and saw that, I have a background in things like cognitive science, uh, philosophy, psychology. Um, she missed a few things like linguistics and biology, but whatever. Um, and I was like, so where does this part of the education come from? Were you studying this, or were you just a subject? It it wasn't really worth a response, but I did respond. I responded in the way saying that I'm not going to respond. So um, I simply said, hey, well, you can save those shaming tactics and fallacious comments for the weak-minded. Have a good day, lady. Somehow she thought she won that by saying done and done. Uh, no, I'm saying that you aren't making something that's not worth giving a full reply to. But that's why you don't reason with people who are irrational, because they won't even be able to pick up that they're losing the argument. Stupid people won't know that they're losing the argument. That's why it's foolish to continue on with them. And it makes you look foolish in response, because you're carrying on with someone who's too stupid to realize that they lost. It would be like for folks to continue playing a football with someone after you've already scored the winning tackle, and they're still trying to play with you. But anyway, so the problem she seemed to have is that I said I don't care about such and such folks when they do stupid stuff to get themselves deleted. And the original person I was replying to was saying that if you have to assert that, then you seem like you may care. That's not true. And I don't want to get into logical analyses of how you break down such statements. But suffice to say, this isn't a new phenomenon. But of course, if people were educated, which these people on this platform supposedly were, that I was conversing with, this isn't a new phenomenon. This stretches way, way back, all the way to like ancient Greek times. And then it was finally solved by people like uh, the philosopher, logician, and mathematician Bertrand Russell, who's like one of the founders of analytic philosophy, which is pretty much the academic philosophy of anyone from English speaking countries. Um, and one of the favorite pet sentences that they tried to analyze is a Cretan says that all Cretans are liars, which sounds like a self contradiction. But like I said, I'm not gonna get into the analysis of that, but it's not a it's not a patent contradiction, depending on how you analyze it. And that's when he went into his theory of logical atomism. Okay, which the early Wittgenstein was a proponent of, then later completely disregarded and destroyed it. But whatever. um, but yeah, but for a Cretan to say that all Cretans are liars are not is not necessarily a contradiction. So for a person to say, so for a person to state, I don't care about X, it's not a necessary contradiction. It's like to openly state that you don't care about something doesn't mean that you therefore actually do care about that very thing. you're given you're asserting you're asserting your view within a larger a larger proposition. So if you have like an atomic proposition or sentence or assertion, whatever, embedded within a larger molecular proposition, sentence, etc., then you're not necessarily stating a contradiction. I know I just made a lot of people's eyes just cross. So again, I don't want to get into the analysis of that too much because it can get very technical. And it was probably one of those things when people started learning analytic philosophy to determine whether they were going to stick with it or choose something like English instead. Like having to learn logical atomism and having to learn symbolic logic were probably the two things that would have turned off the more mediocre students and had them heading to do another major because I'm thinking, I'm gonna take an easy humanities class and oh yeah, philosophy is easy. I can just talk about what's the sound of logs falling in empty forests and stuff. Yeah, no, not at all. You actually had to learn how to think in philosophy. So if thinking wasn't your thing and you didn't like to make distinctions and do nuance, couldn't, or sometimes making distinctions within distinctions, or learning that there are distinctions but those distinctions don't matter, philosophy was not for you because you actually had to be mathematically minded to do analytic philosophy. And a lot of people, let's be honest, who gravitate to humanities aren't very good students, or let's say um, aren't very analytical. So, and you get these people who come onto social media and they think they're saying something profound and they don't even realize that they're saying dumb shit. So, anyway, just wanted to make fun of the stupid people who try to make such errant comments on my social media. And then they'll probably be coming to my YouTube channel soon too, because then they think after they cyber stalk me that, oh well, look at his YouTube uh, label, Just A Contrarian. That means he just will say anything opposite to the to the majority opinion. That's not true. Anyone who's been on this channel long enough has known that will stay well. I will side with the majority on many things in which I agree, but it's only because I find it reasonable. A true contrarian, which I always tell people I really am not, but a true contrarian is someone who will just take whatever's the minority viewpoint on in any given discussion. That's not what I do. It is that's not rewarding and it's completely disingenuous. So I always say I'm just a contrarian because it's basically a self-deprecating moniker showing that that's how people view me, that they just view me as being a contrarian, but I'm not. It's just that, when you do critical thinking, you're not seen in a favorable light. So you're seen as the contrarian, you're seen as the party pooper at the cocktail party. You're not the person people want to be around or talk to because people know that you're not going to just um, high five them for anything they say if you find it to be questionable. Oh well, c'est la vie. So anyway, again, I don't care about rappers or any other celebrities that get deleted doing dumb stuff. If you get high and you die of a hot dose, that's your fault. If you are you out there shooting dice with Pookie and Ray Ray and you get shot, that's your fault. If you hanging with people that don't have your best interests at heart and something ends up happening with those very people, that's your fault. Sorry. I mean, even with regular folks, I wouldn't have too much sympathy, but I'm definitely not going to have sympathy for very rich people who can avoid those situations much more easily than the average person can. But I'm just such a contrarian, right? That's what they say. I'm just a contrarian.